Hello, everyone. This is Space with another week in review. I know. You're thinking, yeah, but Space, it's not been 2 months, or hell, it's not even been a week yet. Why are you making another video? I know. I've been working on stuff. I got an idea, and I wanted to sort of share it with you before the next week in review. Okay, so in the week in review, how I look at Win8, and I kind of show you guys this kind of stuff. Well, and in that video, we also sort of discovered a problem. It's ill-advised, let's call it that, to sort of call out, highlight somebody, when they're playing lower tiers. I suppose if this was a Space Week in review for Awesome Purple, player at any tier, then it would be appropriate. But I'm making these videos for the clan to highlight individuals in the clan that are helping the clan, doing well by the clan, improving the clan, whatever you want to call it. In which case, this doesn't make any sense. And I didn't like it had been building. BC had mentioned something, about it before he had left. And last week's video definitely highlighted some things that I didn't like. So that is what brings me to this and spawns down this road. So I believe this is the ops file. I think it's in the Operation Center in TeamSpeak. And if you haven't seen this file, you should take a look at it because it is just getting massive with data. So all of our clan results and attendance, days of the week, which days, it's crazy. I do put the Space Week in Review data in here as well. It's just a way for me to it's actually my notes. But anyways, there's a ton of stuff in here, and there's this new stuff. So, leads me to this. So what we did was, we started narrowing down the data, I guess is how you want to say it, and we started looking at it from not the individual player's perspective, but from the clan's perspective. So right off the bat, we looked at tier 8s and tier 10s, because those are two numbers that are important to us. Now, and we basically put it in here, we put in filters, we wanted to look at who has been active in the last 10 days, and then these numbers are just numbers. We actually, at the beginning, we sort of had these numbers, just so everybody understands that we weren't looking for the elite. We decided to take 48%, which is the server average, and we took, I think, a number of 1200 Win8 for, I don't know where that came from, but we basically made a short list of all the people in the clan and just got a sense of who's pretty good in light tanks and medium tanks and TDs and such like that. And again, so I'll be looking to use this in the week in review coming up in a few days, and this would be a much better way to highlight, people in the clan. I don't want to say that are worth being highlighted, but from the clan's perspective, someone who should get a shout out type of thing, I guess, is how you would put it. Now, so there you go, is a fairly short list, and there's a couple of people have been kicked from the clan. I wish someone shall remain nameless, would have told me that they were going to kick a bunch of people. I wouldn't have grabbed all this data from them. Anyways. So that's a short list of, tier 8 only that meet these conditions, and you can see the list. I've made it purposely fairly short. Now, the other problem here is that these are overalls. So I'm going to use JC because I know he watches my videos and he'll like me saying his name, JC Dropshot. So what this tells me is overall, JC is, let's say played these 19,000 games. And he's been active in the last 10 days, but it does not necessarily mean that in the last 10 days he's played a tier 8 light tank. More than likely he has, but I mean, this includes, data from like 3 years ago, whatever it may be, when he played a tier 8 light tank. So this kind of gives us like an overall idea, and we can adjust these numbers and sort of, create a list, if you will, type of thing. And we obviously did the same thing with tier 10. I found it really fascinating that Ike needs to play a TD, a tier 10 TD, and a tier 10 Artie, and he'll have like this trifecta at really good in a light tank, really good in a medium tank, and really good in a heavy tank. And again, Swiss and Diablo, I think, are both have been removed from the clan due to inactivity or whatnot. So this list is fairly short, but this helps. It's a tier 8. What's really interesting is that there's very few people that play tier 8 Artie, and even in here, if we drop this down to, let's say, 1500, and we go back down to the server average of 48. So again, this it's interesting is that very few light tanks. A couple meds, a couple TDs, a couple of heavies, but very few tier 10 Arties. And this just helps, like when you're trying to decide, or you want to possibly have a clan member focus on a particular tier to play at, so that they are in the right place at the right time in the right tank to help the clan win. This is, I guess, the whole spiel. But again, this doesn't tell me. Sick might have played Artie 19 years ago, and he might suck now. So I can't tell. He was a Unicom back in the day, but not anymore. It was clearly when he was much, much younger. So then we get to this. So I basically figured out a way where in Wattlabs, and I'm going to use me so that there's no, it doesn't sound like I'm calling anyone out or doing anything strange. I can't find my name. Where's space? Oh, I skipped past it already someplace down here. I'm usually down here. Oh, this is painful. You're like watching this video going, it's right there! Why can I not ever find this stuff? There's a search feature. I can click on that. Okay, so what I did was, in Wattlabs, click on your particular name. You got past 7 days. Down here at the bottom of the 7 days gives you a show button. You click on that, and it breaks down what actual tanks I have been playing. So mostly 9s and 10s, a couple of 5s in the T67, probably just for emotional support, and the Cromwell. I think I was platooning with somebody and they made me play the Cromwell. So I've taken that data and plunked it into here. So now this really is for the week in review, which is why it's 7 days, in the thing. We can really zero down into particular shout outs. Something that I was the whole intent of the video and the whole intent of looking at Wattlabs was supposed to do, but was clearly not doing it. So basically, in the past 7 days, the two guys that have played tier 10 light tanks with good games. And again, I can manipulate these numbers. I guess actually that's something that I would ask of you guys is that what do you think is a good metric? Not from a good game, because just a good game, because obviously I can put in a crazy high win 8 and see who comes out. But does the number of kills matter? Does the number of battles matter? I've changed it to 2 because I could change it to 0, and which means that if you've, well, I'll show you, even if you had like one game, there's going to be a lot more people that come into it, but it's one game, right? And again, I'm trying to filter this down to once a week, call out just like one person, right? One person, and go, yeah, this guy had an awesome game. So Captain Camo, EBR, 7 battles, averaging 1400 damage, ridiculously high win rate, and good win 8, right? And he got an average of 1 kill. Then you got Bleachman in the 105, 50% win rate, 1400 damage. And this is interesting too, right? That from a light tank point of view, averaging 5 spots versus 2 spots. And also Bleachman with a great win 8. And Ike, look, it's Ike again on some list. Man, I got to make sure Ike knows he's on the list. 100 LT, 87 battles. Ike, dude, what the hell? 87 battles? Okay, wait a minute. There is still a small problem. Let me check something out here. IK. All right. No, 7 days. Is it picking? Okay, it's picking this one. So there is a small little problem I have to still fix, which I promise I will. So you see how the 24-hour slot is blank? So what happens is that it skips past, and instead of taking the 7 days, it's taking the last 30 days, which is where, the 87 games in the 100 LT. Now, does that really matter? I mean, probably not for things like win rate and win 8, because whether it's 2 games or 87 games, at the end of the day, that's a kick-ass gameplay in tier 8 and recent, right? Still recent, like what was that? 30 days. Kursu EBR. Same thing, 4 battles, 75% win rate, nearly 1600, 1.5 damage or spots, and 1800 win 8. Sir Bonkers in the 100 LT, same thing. Bone in the 100 LT, Rifleman in the EBR. So now you can kind of get a sense, right, of how this is very different. And so what I want to do in the next video, and I'm letting you guys know that we're looking at these things, we're looking at recents, maybe think about playing higher tiers if you want to get into this list, or compare yourself to the other people. And at the end of the day, what all of this boils down to is that trying to improve all of our gameplay, so that when we jump into a clan war or an advance or a skirmish, that we are bringing our own personal A game to better the clan. And in the next video, I will likely limit it down to like 2 people, and I'll go through each class and give shout outs that way. Maybe this turns into a competition where maybe the clan gives out gold in some way, shape, or fashion, something. And a big one is, what I would like to know is for classes, what do you think is the appropriate values for filtering, from the standpoint of a light tank? Should the number of spots matter the most? For heavy tanks, probably the highest amount of damage. TDs, damage, but maybe also kills. So this is where it's an interesting question, and again, not don't look at it from an individual point of view, right? Because individual point of view, likely we would just say, well, win 8 is the number we should look at. But maybe look at it from the clan's perspective. That what is the clan looking for? What is the clan? How should the clan be evaluating these things? Anyways, that's my space, somewhat in the middle of a week in review, just letting you know what's coming up. And I hope to have the video done, the new video done on the weekend, and I hope that to see you guys on this list. Thanks.